Welcome everyone to the Chris Perish podcast. My name is Chris Perish and this is episode 56. And I just want to take this time to thank every single one of you for joining in. And if you can, please check out my socials, that Facebook, that YouTube, that X account, that Instagram account, and that Twitch, and make sure you hit that follow, that like, that subscribe. Make sure you hit all those notification bell buttons so you can be alerted to every time the Chris Perish podcast is live and is being brought to you. And make sure, if you can, go to Spotify and you go and check out the Chris Perish podcast in case you missed it, because after every live edition of the Chris Perish podcast, it will be uploaded to Spotify for your viewing pleasure. With all that being said, now it's time to get into that sponsor thanking, and that's right, as you see at the top, we have Turnbuckle Studios, which brings us to the Turnbuckle affiliation program. And on the link below at affiliationprogram.my.canva.site, you can visit that link and get your introduction to podcasting, to content creation, to the team of Turnbuckle Studios, to the membership of the Turnbuckle affiliation program, and you can yourself be a part of Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle affiliation program, just like recently I have, just like Chris Best has, and so has Bubba Duke. Yeah, that's right. Everyone you get to see on the Turnbuckle stage, we're a part of the Turnbuckle affiliation program, and we hope to see you there too. And if you're checking out Beercade, make sure that you're checking them out at 105 482nd Ave in Edmonton, Alberta. And if not, make sure that you give them a like on Facebook. You also go and check them out on Instagram, and you can check them out on X at beercadewhyte or beercadewhyte. And you can check out AEW World's End Saturday, December 28th, where you can see yours truly joining in for some elite action brought to you by AEW. Now, they have CBRS Entertainment in the chat saying, howdy, Mr. Perish. Howdy to you. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who is checking us out on the Instagram, on the X account. Make sure that if you're on the Instagram and you want to get your comments in, you come and swing over to the YouTube, to the Facebook, to the Twitch or X, because it will not show on the StreamYard as I do broadcast all episodes off of, but I will read them out. I will try and do my best. Now, what's on tap today, you ask? Well, I thought you'd never ask, because I am very excited, if you haven't been able to tell over the last few episodes, that the WWE has female mid-card championships. Now, at Saturday night's main event, we saw Chelsea Green win the inaugural championship. She is the first ever United States Women's Champion. And now we turn our focus to the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship, as we have seen 3 out of the 4 triple threat matches get a winner. We saw Dakota Kai advance. We have seen Lyra Valkyria, and recently we have now seen Zoe Stark. So that means that we're almost set for the semifinals. In fact, Zoe Stark is set to face Dakota Kai in one set of those semifinals. Lyra Valkyria is set to take on the winner of Alba Fire, Kairi Sane, and Natalya. However, we have seen Kairi Sane get beat up by Pure Fusion Collective on Raw, leaving question to her status for that match that is slated for tomorrow's edition of Monday Night Raw. Now, What does that mean? Does that mean she will be replaced by someone else? You have to tune in. I'm not going to give any spoilers, as we do know that tomorrow's edition of Monday Night Raw has been pre-taped because of the holidays that is coming. So if you do celebrate Christmas, then on Wednesday, Merry Christmas to everyone. If you do not and you celebrate something else, let me know in the comments so I can wish you whatever that may be. So whether it's one of Kairi Sane, Natalya, or Alba Fire, possibly someone else, that individual will go on to face Lyra Valkyria in the semifinals. I have a theory that what we're going to see based on these attacks is one of two folds. We could see Zoe Stark defeat Dakota Kai, and whoever that person who comes out of that triple threat to face Lyra could defeat that person. Now, the reasoning I'm looking at is the fact that Pure Fusion Collective will do everything it can to help Zoe Stark advance, and then that way we could see Lyra earn herself into that finals, and then we could see Damage Control eliminate the help of anyone from Pure Fusion Collective that could get involved in that finals, securing that win for Lyra Valkyria. Now, a second option I have is that Kairi Sane or potentially an Io Sky ends up in that play, and we see one of them go on and face Lyra Valkyria. We see one of them go on to the finals, and we can then see Zoe Stark versus either Kairi Sane or a potential Io Sky. Now, I think Kairi Sane is going to be okay, and we're going to see her compete. Now, I could be wrong. It could be somebody else. We're going to have to tune in and find out. I have not seen spoilers, and I'm not going to go on and check them out just so I can be right. That's not my style, and I hope that's not yours. If you do want to go check it out, that's all good. But please keep those spoilers out of the chat, because I'm sure there are a lot of people that have not seen it. But either way, I am very interested in finding out who is going to be that first ever Intercontinental Champion on the women's side. Why? Because it just adds more development. And with this transfer portal, we have to assume that the Intercontinental Championship for both the men's and women's will most likely stay on Monday Night Raw. And with that being said, now we have an idea with one of either Rhea or Liv being your women's champion. Now having an Intercontinental Champion, we now could set the stage of what kind of women's division we're going to have on Monday nights heading into the Netflix era. So I think it's a great way to kind of shape your division. And as we all know, also, we were crowned with new tag team champions on Friday as Naomi took the place of Jade Cargill to defend against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Now, she ended up pinning Candice LeRae, securing the win for herself and Bianca Belair, who ended up not having to vacate the tag team championships due to Naomi asking to take Jade Cargill's place. So therefore, your new women's tag team champions are now Bianca Belair and Naomi, which now is Naomi's first championship on WWE since the SmackDown World title, I believe, unless she was a tag team champion that I don't remember. But since she came back, that's definitely her first championship. So moving into that Netflix era, you can have one of now Liv Morgan or Rhea. You would have a pick for your Intercontinental. Then you'd have a tag team champion set in stone heading into Netflix. It's a lot easier now to shape that women's division. And now you look at the SmackDown side, you have Nia Jax in that women's title role. You now have Chelsea Green as your United States champion. then you have the tag. It's a lot easier to shape that division. Let me know in the comments who you think both sides are going to take. And now, the best part is we could even see some NXT involvement, and that's just going to be another wrench in the plans here. But in a good way, because we now are getting more clarity on what the future looks, at the very least, for the next a year, give or take. Dave Boys, thanks for checking us out on the Instagram. Leave some comments about what you think the women's division is going to look like heading into 2025. Now, if you want a little bit more about a prediction of 2025, I got something for you. Because as we all know, episode 57, next week's episode, I am going to give to you what I believe from 2024 are my picks for all the awards, such as the men's, the women's, the tag team, the shows of the year, plus more. However, episode 58, now that's the one that's going to get a little bit fun, because the Chris Perish podcast draft returns as we get our gear forward to the Netflix era. As we all know, in Canada, we get everything on Netflix. Whether you live in the United States, you're going to get Raw on Netflix. You're going to get NXT on the CW and SmackDown on the USA Network. And then if you're overseas, I don't know what you get, but I'm sure Netflix is definitely a huge possibility for at least Monday Night Raw or multiple shows for you as well. So we're going to have some fun, and we're going to pretend to be executives of the networks choosing the roster for their show. Now, I'm going to kind of let you know next week who the three people are. I obviously will be involved, but am I going to be an executive, or am I going to be someone who just delegates the draft? Stay tuned for next week to find that out. So yeah, once again, let me know in the comments below who's your pick to become the inaugural Women's Intercontinental Champion, as we are definitely looking forward to seeing who that is. Just like as fans of the WWE, we were talking about that mysterious symbol, that circle with a line through it from Monday Night Raw. All points look to Penta. Penta is believed to be WWE bound and could be the man behind that symbol. Now, speculation could go. Nothing was confirmed. Nothing has been leaked. But what we do know is that a lot of the Penta pass, that logo kind of has been attached to it. So, needless to say, it's going to be very intriguing if Penta is that guy. Let's just go with it and assume that it is. What would you guys think a Penta in WWE looks like? Now, earlier it was reported that both him and Rey Fenix were going to sign with the WWE and going to be put right on SmackDown. And as we all know, injury time allowed AEW to add some time to his contract, so Rey Fenix remains in AEW for the time being. Now, Penta himself was able to have his contract expire. That slot on SmackDown seemed to go to the Motor City Machine Guns. So, we might have to wait just a little bit longer for the Lucha Bros, but the right now is Penta in WWE. And we don't know how soon it will be that he appears. Now, is it going to be January 6th on Netflix? Is it going to be the Royal Rumble? I would like to know what you think is the best case scenario here. What we do know from Netflix and WWE January 6th is not going to be the only show that feels like the PLE. In fact, they have gone out, they being WWE and Netflix themselves, have said they plan on making every episode feel like a larger than life show. This is just shaping into the next generation of Monday Night Raw. So, with all that being noted inside, where do we think Penta is going to show? Or, sorry, when do we think Penta is going to show up? Because now it opens the door that any episode of Raw on Netflix could very well be that episode or that time. But then what we also know is WWE likes to have some surprises for the Royal Rumble. So, do we wait till February 1? Or do we get it sooner? With this kind of era of WWE, I wouldn't be surprised if the Royal Rumble is your destination. However, I do not expect anything anymore because I'm always surprised. I'm always surprised in wrestling right now, and that's a good thing. I can't tell you if we're going to see it before. I can't tell you if we're going to see it on Royal Rumble. I'm not privy to that information. All I can tell you, Penta is going to be WWE, and I'm looking forward to it. What is he going to do? That remains to be seen. Who do you want to see him with? I think a lot of people would like to see Penta versus Rey Mysterio, Penta versus Andrade, Penta versus a lot of the Mexican born wrestlers, Santos Escobar being another name. But I'd like to see Penta go up against a Gunther. I'd like to see Penta go up against a Seth Rollins. Penta versus Finn Balor. Penta versus Braun Breaker. Penta versus Ilya Dragunov. There's a lot of amazing opportunities that we could get. And this could just be the perfect time gap up until Rey Fénix joins his brother. Yes, for any of you who didn't know, Penta and Rey Fénix are real-life brothers. So by the time Rey Fénix joins, we could see perhaps a big tag team matchup, like the Lucha Bros versus the Motor City Machine Guns, or DIY, or the War Raiders, Street Profits, and more. So this is going to shape up to be just as big of a year. Now, 2024 started with January, the first, just day one, January 1. With The Rock coming back, claiming that he may take a seat at the head of the table. And that shifted all the way to the speculation that The Rock and Roman Reigns were going to be a thing at WrestleMania until Cody Rhodes and his fan base completely changed that course. So what do we get for the first show of WWE in 2025? You have to assume it's pretty large. And that's going to be January 3rd, Friday Night SmackDown. Unless it, yeah, because I believe NXT is on December 31, I believe, yeah. January 3rd, SmackDown. First show of 2025 for WWE, and then we roll to the January 6th, the debut edition of Raw on Netflix on January 6th. So I 100% expect something big is going to happen. My question is, has the beginning week of the year, has that replaced the aura that the night after WrestleMania had? That's my question. Because when we've looked in years in the past, we have not felt that the night after WrestleMania have had this aura of what it was before. We'd always get a big moment, a surprise return, a surprise debut, even potentially just a big title change, a heel turn, babyface turn. Again, a moment, right? We were always used to something. Lately, I won't say the word letdown, but it just hasn't lived up to the expectation that was set prior. And because of that, fans have not really been satisfied with the aura of the current feel of the night after WrestleMania. But heading into a year, whether it's day one, whether it's that first show of the year, WWE has lately been putting out memorable shows. So once again, I ask, has WWE switched the aura of the night after WrestleMania to the beginning of the calendar year, like a day one? Let me know what you think. I don't know. I don't have the answer. I just have an opinion. I think right now it has been. I think right now that aura has been shifted, and I hope that maybe that aura continues to shift its way back. It could also stay. I'm just saying, spread that aura out, because I would like to see the night after WrestleMania. I want that to be a big moment again, and I hope in 2025 it is. Now, an aura that I think a lot of people love is an aura of content. And here at Turnbuckle Studios, we have an aura of content. That's right. So here's a little bit of a video. Not a little bit. Here is a video of the content that Turnbuckle Studios, with the hand of the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program, bring to you every single week.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. All times are in Eastern Time. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m., followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Thursday we get a variety stream with the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Friday we game again with Unleashed, the Jessica Wilde story at 7 p.m. Following the game, join us for the SmackDown Security Detail at 8 p.m. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. On Sunday be sure to catch the Chris Perish podcast at 12:15 p.m. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
And that's everything you can check out on the Turnbuckle Studios platform. And yes, if you want to be a part of that, make sure you're going to affiliationprogram.my.canva.site. And that is the site to check out if you want to be part of it. Talking a little bit about January 6th, Monday Night Raw on Netflix. How can we not talk about that? Right? That is such just a memorial show, or memorable. That's the right way to say it. Memorable. Nobody died. Memorable. Scratch that. Repeat that. It's a very memorable show. We have a lot going on. In fact, just this past week, WWE had a launch party for Netflix at their headquarters, and General Manager Adam Pearce made it official. He said that Liv Morgan will be defending her women's world title against Rhea Ripley on January 6th, which is now added to a show that already has, in a tribal combat match, Solo Sikoa versus Roman Reigns. Winner takes all, including the Ula Fala, which is the prized possession of the tribal chief. So the winner gets the Ula Fala and becomes the tribal chief. The undisputed tribal chief, perhaps? The UTC? I don't know. I'm just being mean, being a little silly, but maybe that's what they go with. Who knows? But we also have, for the first time in this modern day, in the newest form, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk, and that is rumored to be the main event of the show, which leads me to believe something big is going to take place. And I'm very intrigued with what that could be. You ask why? It's Raw on Netflix. Debut episode. You think they're not going to end that show with a bang, with a cliffhanger, with something absolutely just newsworthy? I think Seth Rollins is going to full blown turn heel. 100%. I think he is going to do something that makes you want to hate him. Now, I think this is not going to be just a one match thing. I think this is going to go on for at least a few shows. However, I don't think it's going to be a WrestleMania match anymore. I can be wrong. And I think if I'm wrong, it better be for the World Heavyweight title, and there better be absolutely zero matches between January 6th and WrestleMania 41, because I want the second match as much as I want the first one, if not more. Ways you can get there? Easy. I believe CM Punk is the favorite to win the men's 2025 Royal Rumble. And I do believe Seth Rollins could win the World Heavyweight Championship, say at Elimination Chamber. I do believe that CM Punk then would choose Seth Rollins as his opponent. I think that is the most logical way we can get back there. Is that how I want it? I don't know. I'd have to see how they do it all. Do I think that a world title is going to be defended inside the Elimination Chamber in Toronto? Absolutely, I do. Absolutely, I do. I don't think we're going to see number one contender on the men's. I don't. They did it last year. Drew McIntyre won it. I don't think that's going to happen this year. In fact, I kind of want the Elimination Chamber match itself in 2025, whether there's one for the men's and women's. I want them both to be for a championship. I am tired of number one contender matches for the Elimination Chamber. I just don't like them. I think they've run its course for me. I'd like a little bit of a break between that. I want to see everyone inside that chamber fight for something that they can have and they can hold at the end of it. That is a championship. So yeah. Also, staying on this January 6th episode of Raw, I do believe we could see Solo Sikoa take the win against Roman Reigns. And I think that has a lot to do with the potential megastar, the most electrifying man of all of sports entertainment, the final boss, The Rock, who's scheduled to appear on Raw. As we have Jaylee Beats coming in saying, morning, hope you're having a good day. I'll be lurking. Well, lurk whenever you want. This is Lurk City, so lurk away. Also, people, if you're not aware of Jaylee Beans, she's a fantastic streamer over on her Twitch, so that's where you can reach her, Jaylee Beans _. That is her Twitch handle. Make sure you're giving her a shout out. Make sure you're giving her a subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. I know she plays a lot of games. She just did some Fall Guys yesterday. She also sings. Fantastic voice, so go check that out. I believe we're also baking and playing other games like Fortnite as well. So go check her out, go support her, and go have some fun. Get a lot of points, and she has the fart button on there. It's a lot of fun to hit, so I suggest doing that. That is my favorite. But yeah, we're talking a little January 6th Monday Night Raw on Netflix. Solo Sikoa versus Roman Reigns for the Tribal Chief status, for the Ulafala. I do think The Rock is going to do something whether it's help Roman Reigns or whether it's cost Roman Reigns. One of the two. Obviously, I know you're on the other side, like, oh yeah, no kidding, Perish. Go figure. But I think just the idea of that being a possibility in 2025, like, come on. Last year was the one time it was honestly going to happen, and the fans said, no, we want Cody. Think about this. They've been teasing that match for the better part of a decade, and the one time they're just going to go forward with it, the fans are like, we want someone else. So it really makes you wonder how many more honest attempts they have left to make this work. And I say honest attempts because we have to take into account that Dwayne Johnson does have a busy Hollywood schedule. He does make blockbuster movies every year. And filming a movie takes a very long time. And with him doing the majority of his stunts, that takes a wear and tear on the body. And then you have to tie that into the world of professional wrestling, have that make sense. Is Roman Reigns kind of in that perfect platform to do it? Is everything aligning? Where is his storyline? It says he has something else going on at the time. There's a lot of pieces to that puzzle that you have to fit in. So if that is the direction, you would have to think that January 6th, you're going to get a real piece played. And if that's the case, I am looking forward to it, because I really don't think Roman Reigns needs to be around a world title this upcoming WrestleMania. He's had it. He's had a championship for the last how many WrestleManias? Probably since the pandemic, where he actually could not face Goldberg for the Universal title due to COVID. So, it would be nice to have a little bit of a change. I do think Cody Rhodes is going to be your WWE champion heading into WrestleMania. And I would be kind of hard-pressed to think if it's not Seth Rollins, it's Gunther heading into WrestleMania as your champion as well. So, taking into account of all this stuff, it's going to be very intriguing kind of where we get. Because right now, the WWE, we're talking here, December 22nd. Mere 9 days away from the end of 2024. And that is where we really get going. We really get going to not just Netflix on January 6th, the Royal Rumble on February 1. We have Saturday night's main event right there in January 25. Then we have Elimination Chamber just right there, right at the beginning of March. And then we have WrestleMania in April. There's always something there. This is the fastest, most impactful, most just crazy time to be a WWE fan. Bobby Stats coming in on the Instagram. Hello, buddy. How are you doing? Good to see you. I hope you're having a great Sunday. But yeah, what a time. We're kind of gearing up for that time right now. Yes, there's a lot of pre-tape shows coming up, but guess what? It's only 1 week of them, and then we go back to a live Raw, a live SmackDown, and then we're going into the new age of everything. It's a fun time. Also, we have New Year's Evil. I believe it's January 7th on NXT. Bobby, I know you're in the chat now. You can correct me. Unless that's you want to correct me as well. But there's a lot to go on. A lot going on. So I don't know. I'm not too sure where we're going to have of the direction for Roman and Solo, but I definitely think The Rock is going to play a big part of that. And then lastly, we do have Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. Hopefully, and I think a lot of you probably want this to be the closure for right now of this. And yes, it is for the Women's World Championship. And I do believe that Rhea Ripley is going to once again become your Women's World Champion and defeat Liv Morgan. And so we need something moving past this. Like, we need something new. They have been at each other's throats. They've been going at it for a while now. And it's one of those things where if you want to continue with this, you definitely need that break. You need that stopgap. It's why I do believe that one of them is probably being moved to SmackDown in this transfer portal. Which one? I don't know. Maybe it is Rhea Ripley. Maybe Rhea Ripley goes to SmackDown. I highly doubt it, because she is being absolutely pushed to the moon on everything. And I think Netflix really wants her on Raw. So, but right. I mean, the best thing to do if you want to kind of just close off a chapter in a feud is kind of have somebody go to another show, and then boom. Kind of just allows that separation to be an organic thing. So by the time that it comes back, you'd want it again. Let me know what your guys think. What do we think about January 6th, Raw on Netflix? The 3 matches that we know we have. Is there another match that you could see? Because given that headquarter press conference, the possibility of seeing Gunther versus Logan Paul, Logan Paul, by the way, is now officially a Monday Night Raw superstar. And he took shots at the World Championship. He wants Gunther, potentially. Bobby Stats coming in saying, your thoughts on the main roster wrestlers, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, being on NXT last Tuesday and during a segment with Fatal Influence. I'll just say this in general. If you don't have a lot going for anyone on Raw or SmackDown, and there's an opening to work with people on NXT, just to A, give them something, and B, also give an opportunity to the people in NXT to see if they're ready to be brought to the Raw and SmackDowns, I think that is a correct move. I think that's the right move. Also, I think the tag team of Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, Unholy Union, are fantastic. Sometimes I don't think people are aware of how good they are. I wish that their tag team championship run was longer, just like I think a lot of people. But what I do want them to get is more steam and more momentum heading back into the tag team division. Now, with them working with Fatal Influence on NXT, that means they're being now used as babyfaces as opposed to heels. So I'm very intrigued with kind of the direction on is that really what they're going to be doing moving forward, or is that more of a one-time thing? So just to answer your question, I love the idea because I want to see them on my screen. I want to see them perform. I want to see what they're done, or what they're being done, or what they're being used to do. Chris Best coming in saying, I'm kind of thinking outside the box here, but imagine if Rhea wins. This closes the door on Liv. While she's celebrating, we see Jordynne Grace show up, and we get a stare down between them. Okay, who's your heel? Because if Jordynne Grace comes down, I'm sure the fans will go crazy for it. And I don't know if I'm putting Jordynne Grace right now as my heel. I mean, the Eradicator versus the Juggernaut is definitely a selling point. I may wait for SummerSlam for that one, though. That's just my opinion. I don't hate what you're saying. I definitely don't hate what you're saying. I think Jordynne Grace could be an absolute just what's right. She's just going to be a gigantic addition to the women's division. There's no other way to put it. She is going to be an absolute just bomb put out in that women's division. And anybody who's in that radius of that bomb going off, as soon as she enters the WWE, they're in danger. Best. I don't think we need a heel. This could just be a feud for respect in the title. I can guarantee you the fans will turn on someone, though. The fans will. And it'll be Jordynne Grace. Because Rhea Ripley is just way too popular right now. I can guarantee that's going to happen. So I mean, it's a tough one. I mean, you really need, I think, to find that perfect heel on the women's side to go up against Jordynne Grace if she's coming in. And that's why, like, I'm very, and I think if I was WWE, I'll counter your idea with another one, because Bobby's saying it's nice that they're on NXT 100%. Unholy Union being on NXT is fantastic. They're being used. They're being showcased. That's all I want. I think we all just want to see talent being used. Obviously, we can fantasize about how we would book them, because that's what we do as fans. We fantasize book till the end of time. But at the end of the day, we definitely want to see them doing something memorable, good, and that allows them to be as big and successful as possible. I think that's the end goal for us as fans as well. We just want to see them succeed. But yeah, best. Okay, I have an idea, because if you've been hearing and going through the rumblings, we all know that Charlotte is imminent on a return to WWE. If Rhea Ripley defeats Liv Morgan and wins back that championship, and we now have that announcer saying, Rhea Ripley is back on top. Mommy is back on top of this women's division. But what women's division will she have? And then we hear Charlotte's music. And they have a stare down. And just when you think that's it, that's when Jordynne Grace comes out. And now all of a sudden, it's not just Rhea Ripley. It's not just Liv Morgan. Now you have Charlotte. Now you have Jordynne Grace. And that's just 4. There could be multiple people as well. Now all of a sudden you're just like, holy crap, this division it's going to do some damage. Because we all know that Rhea Ripley and Charlotte can have a banger whenever they want. I mean, they've only proved that a few times already. But then you add, say, a Jordynne Grace in the mix. I think that's pretty cool. Listen, but yeah, I mean, let me know. I mean, we have to start understanding that, like, Charlotte's going to be a part of the big plans now in the women's division. We know that Alexa Bliss is going to be back soon. We know Asuka is going to be back at some point. We know Carmella will, but it's probably not going to be towards the latter part of 2025. Here is an idea. Women's World Title, Elimination Chamber. Rhea Ripley defends the Women's World Title against Charlotte, against Liv Morgan, against Jordynne Grace, and that's your 4. Add 2 more, and you're just like, Damn. I don't know. What do you guys think? Who could, fantasize book on that one? Could even have like an EO Sky. Although I could even be Bailey or Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch is going to be back too. Becky Lynch is going to be a part of January 6th Raw on Netflix. Is that Alexa and Becky were the first two I thought of. KWUZ_Yermero. Thanks for joining us on the Instagram Live. We're just fantasizing the booking of what a potential women's division on Monday Night Raw on Netflix could be. And once again, for anybody who popped in, episode 58, so 2 episodes from today, January 5th, that episode of the Chris Perish Podcast, the first one of 2025, we will bring back the Chris Perish Podcast Draft, the second annual, as me and a few other people will potentially represent. I think I'm going to be a part of it. I just like drafts too much. But we're going to represent the network. So we're going to have somebody represent Netflix. We're going to have somebody represent the USA Network. Somebody represent CW, which have the rights to Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. And we're going to do the draft. We're going to do a draft. We're going to have some fun. And yeah, new graphics as you see for the Chris Perish Podcast. So obviously there's going to be updated graphics for the draft. I'm putting work on myself. That's what I'm doing. I didn't think this one through. But yeah. But yeah, that is January 6th. Gonna be a big deal, big show on Netflix. January 5, you want to check that out. Next week, I'm gonna give out my my predictions of awards for 2024. It's not really predictions, it's just what I'm gonna pick. They're my personal pick, so that's gonna be the thing. Said, how about a women's Intercontinental Championship or a women's United States Championship elimination chamber match? I would not hate it. I definitely would not hate it. I would maybe go away from the Intercontinental simply because actually the more I look at it, the more I'm just like, probably not this year or probably not this upcoming chamber match. You just had tournament style matches to crown champions. So I don't know if doing a multi-person match for the championship makes a lot of sense. I would be open to one of them. I would be open to something like that down the road, though. Definitely down the road. Maybe even a ladder match for one of those titles at WrestleMania. I'd be open for that. Also, take a note now, there are 2 more titles that Money in the Bank briefcase on the women's side can potentially be for. Tiffany Stratton now can challenge 2 more championships if she feels like it. Now it is more logical that she's going to go against Nia Jax and cash in on her, but just putting it out there that now she has the United States and Women's Intercontinental to go after. So yeah. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any more additions that you would make to the Raw on Netflix. Because as we were saying, Logan Paul versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight title very well could be. And right now, if we're looking at Solo versus Roman, right now they're people that are on SmackDown. Right? So as of right now, this isn't just a Raw show. It's anybody is available. So I wonder if this episode of Raw is just either we're going to be getting Solo and Roman exclusive to Raw by then, or this episode of Raw is just going to be an absolute one-time deal of just, oh my God, like this is just the special one. And then the next ones are going to be Raw exclusive big one. I don't know. It's going to be, I think you guys are picking up what I'm putting down, so I don't really have to explain, but yeah, January 6th could be just an open field, whereas maybe January 13th is going to be a different entity in terms of who all is available for the show. January 6th could be everyone on WWE. January 13th could be just people on Raw. Yeah. Didn't have to explain myself, but I did anyway because, well, sometimes I just got to hear to make it sense. That is not the only wrestling match that I'm looking forward, or matches that I'm looking forward to in 2025. If anybody's local, to the wrestling scene here in Edmonton, Alberta, come check out Real Canadian Wrestling. Because as we all saw last show, I was in a tag match. I picked up the win. I pinned Kat Von Hayes. Yes, the wife of Bobby Sharp. Yeah. Pinned her. And then she got mad. Kat Von Hayes got a little meowy at management. Decided she wanted a match. So, here we go. Saturday, January 11th, 2025 at the Hungarian Cultural Center. Yours truly, tries to declaw Kat Von Hayes once again. So if you're in the area, check it out. Bobby coming in saying, could Drew McIntyre be signed to SmackDown since he's been appearing on SmackDown recently? I do think that that's a strong possibility. We talk about separation from a lot earlier, and I do think Drew McIntyre having that separation from, multiple people like CM Punk's or, when it's all said and done, Sami Zayn, because I do think we could see Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre again. I think him on SmackDown will give him a fresh feel. I definitely do. So I don't think you're that wrong. Plus, I kind of want to see him and Kevin Owens kind of align themselves and do something together. So I think that'd be fun. Although I do think Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins right now are a lot closer in terms of thinking than they want to admit. Especially when the topic of hand is CM Punk or Roman Reigns or Bloodline. So, Drew McIntyre going to SmackDown, very, very large possibility. Now, I guess if we're talking transfer portal, I think I'm going to give you guys people I'd like to see. This is kind of, I don't have this on my notes. This is kind of something that I've just decided to do. If I pick one person to go to each show, I think I'm going to go with Carmelo Hayes over to Monday Night Raw. I'm going to go with Seth Rollins to Friday Night SmackDown. I'm going to go with Natalya to NXT. Let me know what you guys think. But sadly, we're reaching that time for episode 56 of the Chris Perish podcast. And for that time, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for joining me as I do every week. Why? Because it's important to me to let you know how much I do appreciate you guys. We are heading into that holiday season, and I would like to wish every single one of you a very Merry Christmas or a happy holidays. Whatever you decide to celebrate, I hope you have a wonderful time, wonderful day, wonderful just time in your life. This is the time to be happy, be joyful, be appreciative, grateful for the things you have. So Even if by chance that's not something that is easy for you to think of, just remember one thing. Here on the Chris Perish podcast, I want you to be kind, be happy, and be you. Because at the end of every single day, you matter. Have a good day, everyone, and I'll see you next week for episode 57 of the Chris Perish podcast.